When did you first realize that not all parents act like yours? I learned to recognize the warning signs before I could even read properly. The way my dad's jaw would tighten when he walked through the door meant mom was about to bring up the credit card bill. The way mom would slam cabinet doors meant dad had forgotten something important again. By the time I was 12, I could predict their fights down to the minute, and I'd already have my headphones ready with the volume cranked up until my ears hurt, just to drown out the sound of them screaming about who ruined whose life first. When Eli from my biology class asked if I wanted to come over after school to work on our project, I almost made up an excuse. Going to other people's houses meant eventually they'd want to come to mine, and there was no way I could explain why my mom was sleeping in the guest room permanently, or why there were dents in the hallway walls from thrown objects that missed their targets. But we had a huge presentation due, and Eli lived walking distance from school, which meant I wouldn't need to ask either parent for a ride and deal with 20 minutes of them using me as a weapon against each other. My mom would say, "Tell your father he needs to put gas in the car if he's going to use it all weekend," while my dad would respond, "Tell your mother I wouldn't need the car if she hadn't made me sleep at a motel last Tuesday." Walking into Eli's house felt like stepping through a portal into some alternate universe where families actually functioned. His parents were both in the kitchen when we arrived, and instead of the tense silence that meant someone was about to explode, they were laughing about something that happened at his mom's work. His dad was chopping vegetables while his mom stirred something on the stove, and they moved around each other like dancers who'd rehearsed for years. When his dad accidentally knocked over the salt shaker, his mom just said, "Butterfingers," and kissed him on the cheek while cleaning it up. Nobody screamed about being careless or brought up every other mistake from the past 5 years. Eli asked if his friend could stay for dinner, and his parents looked at each other for maybe half a second before saying yes together like they shared a brain. At my house, that question would have started World War III about money and whose turn it was to cook and why one parent always had to be the bad guy. During dinner, his parents asked about our days and actually listened to the answers instead of waiting for ammunition for their next fight. His dad mentioned forgetting to grab milk on the way home, and his mom just said, "I'll grab some tomorrow when I'm out anyway." That was it. No lecture about responsibility or memory or how she has to do everything herself. They disagreed about something political they'd heard on the news, but they were actually discussing it like human beings instead of going for the jugular. His mom said, "That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way." And I literally almost choked on my pasta because I'd never heard either of my parents admit they might be wrong about anything ever. When we finished eating, Eli's dad started clearing plates while his mom packed up leftovers, and nobody kept score about who did more housework or complained about the other one being lazy. After dinner, while we worked in Eli's room, I could hear his parents downstairs talking and laughing while they cleaned up together. At one point, his mom called up, "Honey, do you want me to wash your gym clothes?" And his dad called back, "That would be amazing, thank you, babe." And I sat there staring at my biology textbook, trying to process that interaction. In my house, that would have become, "I'm not your servant," and "I work 60 hours a week. Is it too much to ask for clean clothes?" When Eli's dad drove me home, I watched him text his wife, "Love you," at a red light just because he felt like it. Standing outside my apartment building, I could already hear my parents through the open window 3 floors up. My dad was screaming, "Maybe if you weren't such a controlling psycho, I wouldn't have to hide things from you," while my mom shrieked back, "I'm controlling because you're a pathological liar who can't be trusted with anything." Eli's dad pretended not to notice, but he turned the radio up slightly and asked if I needed anything else for the project. When I shook my head, he said, "You're welcome over anytime." Eli really likes having study partners, and the way he emphasized anytime made me realize he understood exactly what he was offering me. The moment I walked through our apartment door, my mom grabbed my arm and demanded to know where I'd been because dad said I wasn't at the library like I'd told her. My dad yelled from the kitchen that he never said that, and she was making things up again to start another fight. Within seconds, they were screaming at each other, and I was completely forgotten, standing there in the doorway still thinking about how Eli's mom had laughed at his dad's terrible puns. My mom turned to me and said, "Tell your father that if he wants to eat tonight, he can make his own damn food." And my dad shot back, "Tell your mother I'd rather starve than eat anything she touches." I looked at both of them, and for the first time in my life I said, "Tell each other yourselves because I'm done being your messenger."